Beneath the Syrian moon, there is no clamor of battle. No war drums sound, no swords clash in the heated frenzy of life. Instead, there is a quiet, a slow rhythm, as metal meets water, a hiss that lingers in the air like a prayer. The forge hums under a clouded sky, and the night around it is still, listening. It is said that the secret of Damascus steel was not a discovery, but an unfolding. An alchemy, whispered and forgotten, like a name buried under the sands of time. Here, beneath the arid breath of the desert, the tale begins, not with conquest, but with the quiet art of creation. A blade formed from fire, shaped by the hands of men whose names we may never know, yet whose work remains, shining faintly in the darkened corners of history. We drift back, far back, to the forges of the Middle East, where the blacksmith's hammer once rang with purpose. It is here, in this place of heat and heavy smoke, where the secret of Damascus steel was first whispered into being. The flames of the forge flicker like memories, the heat curling and bending the air. The blacksmith stands at his anvil, sweat beading upon his brow as the molten metal is shaped, the rhythm of his hammer striking out a beat that echoes through time. In the heart of the forge, the steel breathes, rippling like the surface of a flowing stream. For Damascus steel was not like any other metal, not like the iron of the plains or the hardened swords of distant lands. No, this steel was different, alive somehow, in the way it gleamed with the secrets of the earth. It shimmered with the imprint of the sky, a testament to a craft so ancient that it can only be understood by the ghosts of the past. Whispers tell us that this miracle of the forge began with the deep, dark veins of ore, rich in carbon, brought from faraway lands. From the depths of India, the wooed steel arrived, black, crystalline, and dense with the weight of the earth. The smiths, their hands steady and practice, coaxed from this ore a miracle that defies understanding even today. With each strike of the hammer, each turn in the fire, the steel began to form, a shimmering, twisting pattern. The molten metal, dark and fluid, became something else. A blade with a soul. The secret of the steel lay in the transformation that occurred as the smiths worked, for it is here that the true magic happened, hidden from the eyes of those who could not see it. The carbon atoms of the steel were not merely aligned, they were woven together, interlocked in delicate microscopic patterns that would only be understood millennia later, by scientists peering through the lenses of a microscope. The metal itself was an enigma, a paradox of sharpness and flexibility, of hardness and fluidity. A blade that could cut through armor yet bend like water when needed. It was a dance of molecules, a silent symphony played in the heart of the forge. The carbon nanotubes that formed within the steel were not seen by the eyes of the blacksmith, but they were there, shaping the blade into something more than just a weapon. A creation that could cut not only through flesh and bone but through the very fabric of time itself. A blade so sharp it could slice through the veil of history, yet so resilient it could withstand the test of centuries. Perhaps that was the true secret, the knowledge that the steel was more than just a weapon. It was a reflection of the world itself, sharp yet flexible. Fleeting, yet eternal. The steel was not meant to last forever. Like all things, it was born, it lived, and then it was lost. Some say that the secret of Damascus steel faded away as mysteriously as it had arrived, swallowed by time, leaving only the echo of its power behind. It was not stolen, nor forgotten. It simply faded, like a song whose melody is lost to the wind. Perhaps it was never meant to be found. In forgotten corners of the earth, the knowledge slipped away, buried beneath the weight of ages. The smiths grew old, their apprentices unable to grasp the delicate balance that gave life to the steel. Some say that it was a particular vein of ore, a vein that ran dry, that led to the loss of the secret. Others believe it was the death of a master who passed without sharing the knowledge with a worthy heir. No one truly knows. All we have are the remnants of the past, the broken whispers of a craft that was never fully understood. Yet still, the steel remains. In museums, hidden from the eyes of the world, the remnants of Damascus steel lie dormant, waiting to be touched once more by the hands of those who dare to understand its secrets. The steel is no longer a weapon of war, no longer a symbol of conquest. It has become something else. A relic, a whisper from a time long gone. When we gaze upon it, we are not merely looking at metal. We are looking at the echo of a fire that burned out long ago, the faint memory of something that once was, but now is no more. Some voices only echo when we are ready to listen. And perhaps the secret of Damascus steel is like those voices, silent, waiting. Perhaps it will never be truly understood, for some mysteries are meant to remain just that, mysteries veiled in the smoke of the forge, fading into the silence of history. But we can still hear its echo in the quiet of the night, beneath the Syrian moon, where the hiss of metal meeting water lingers in the air. And in that silence, we are reminded of the beauty that was, and the knowledge that, in the end, is as fragile as the smoke that rises from the forge. It is said that the secret of Damascus steel is lost to time, but perhaps it was never meant to be found. Perhaps the steel was never meant to be more than a moment, an alchemical miracle, created in the heart of the earth, and left to fade like the sound of a distant song, forever echoing in the silence of the world. Beneath the warmth of the forge, beneath the scorching breath of fire, we now descend. The air cools, softening like the end of a day's sun. The rhythm of life changes as the heat of the smithy is replaced by the gentle patient lapping of the Mediterranean, its waves whispering against the stones of the ancient coast. It is said that beneath the surface of this quiet sea, in the murky depths, there rests an enigma, an ancient secret wrapped in stone, a testament to the wisdom of a people long gone. The Romans, in their boundless ingenuity, crafted a material that would stand the test of time, while the world around it erodes. And so, we follow the tide. There, beneath the salty waves, the enduring legacy of Opus Caementicum, Roman concrete, rests like a sleeping giant, unyielding to the passage of centuries, while our modern creations falter, crumbling with the swift brutality of time. These ancient harbours, these harbours of Rome, have withstood for 2 millennia, growing stronger with each tide. As if the sea itself nurtures and strengthens them, it is a marvel that defies the logic of our own brittle constructions. How did the ancients know the secret to binding the earth with the sea, to blend the dust of the earth with the salt of the water, and make it endure? It is whispered that the answer lies in the volcanic ash from Pozzoli, carried from the belly of the earth itself. This ash, mingling with the lime from the land, became the heart of the Roman formula, a substance that took on the breath of the ocean. Some believe the Romans were not simply engineers, but geomancers, blending the power of earth and water trusting that the ocean itself would finish what the hands of men began. They did not build as we build, with cement and steel, but with something far older, something that breathed in harmony with the tides, with the weight of time. The wind carries the scent of salt and stone as we journey deeper, further from the surface, into the quiet depths where the ruins lie still. Beneath the waves, the silence is profound, broken only by the soft currents and the echo of distant memory. Here, the remains of ancient piers stretch out like fingers toward the horizon, now lost to the sea, their forms softened by the slow, patient work of time. Yet, as we move through the water, we are drawn to something more, something beautiful, something mysterious. Within the stone, a rare bloom takes shape. Tobermorite, crystalline structures growing as if from the stone itself, blooming within the Roman concrete like delicate, forgotten flowers. These flowers of stone form in the embrace of the seawater, a product of an interaction so subtle, so hidden, that it was only understood after millennia of careful observation. The seawater, which would destroy the very concrete of our modern world, has instead nourished these ancient creations. The stone breathes, becomes alive, like the pulse of the earth itself. It is the magic of a bond made between nature and humanity, a quiet dance of chemistry, unfolding over thousands of years, strengthening rather than weakening. It is not destruction, but creation, not erosion, but renewal. Somewhere, deep within the sea, the answer to the mystery of the ancients lies, still blooming in the depths. How did they know? How did they understand the delicate balance between the dust of the volcano and the salt of the ocean? Theirs was not a science of calculation, but one of intuition, of a deep connection to the earth and the elements that surround them. In forgotten corners of the earth, perhaps there still lies the answer, buried beneath the weight of the waters, waiting for those who are ready to listen. And yet, the answer may not come. Perhaps it was never meant to be fully understood. Perhaps it was the gift of the ancients to trust the earth, to trust the sea, in a way that we have forgotten. Perhaps they knew that not all mysteries should be solved, not all answers should be unearthed. In their work, they did not seek immortality, they sought harmony. They understood that the world is not made of rigid structures, but of cycles, of rhythms that flow like the tides, of forces that work in concert, patiently, slowly, over time. We rise now from the depths, returning to the surface, where the light of the fading sun kisses the edge of the water. The ancient harbors stand quietly, timeless as they have for centuries. They are not monuments to human achievement, but to the delicate, ever-shifting relationship between man and nature. There is no great ceremony here, no pomp or celebration. There is only the quiet, enduring strength of stone, and the patient work of the earth and the sea, working together in ways we may never fully understand. Perhaps, like the stone, we too are subject to the tides, to the passing of time. Our creations are fragile, fleeting. But the stone endures. It breathes beneath the sea, a reminder that the work of the ancients was not a triumph of force, but of quiet patience, of wisdom passed down through time. The concrete blooms beneath the waves, strengthened by the very elements that would have undone us. And in this quiet, beneath the weight of the water, we are reminded that some things are meant to last, while others are fleeting. Perhaps it is not in the strength of our creations that we find meaning, but in the delicate balance we share with the earth. The stone heals the sea, and the sea heals the stone. In a timeless dance that continues, unnoticed, beneath the surface. Perhaps it was never meant to be found. Perhaps the true mystery of the ancients is not the secret of the concrete, but the quiet understanding that there is wisdom in impermanence, in the slow, patient work of time. Some voices only echo when we are ready to listen. And perhaps the ancients left us their gift not in the stone, but in the silence. Beneath the still waters of the Aegean, there is a silence. It is the kind of quiet that wraps itself around you, thick with the weight of forgotten centuries, pressing down with the crushing pressure of the deep sea. In this sacred, secret world where the waves never touch and the stars are obscured by the weight of the earth, something rests, half forgotten. Some believe it is the heart of a sunken ship, the husk of an ancient vessel swallowed by time. But there, beneath the waves, lies something more. A device, an enigma, a whisper from the past, cradled in the dark. It is said that what lies there, untouched by the years, still carries within it the heart of the stars themselves. It was not until the year 1901, when sponge divers plunged into the depths of the Aegean, that this secret was uncovered. They brought with them a lump of calcified green rock, unremarkable at first glance, silent, lifeless. They did not know then that it was not a relic, but a sleeping giant, waiting for the touch of human curiosity to awaken it. This fragment, this humble piece of time, had been lost beneath the waves for centuries, untouched by the sun, forgotten by the world. It was not a machine. It was a slumbering artifact, wrapped in the embrace of rust and time. As the layers of corrosion were peeled away, the true nature of the object began to emerge. There, within the calcified mass, lay a symphony, a dance of 30 bronze gears, intertwined like the thoughts of a sleeping god. Each gear, precise and perfect, locked into the others with a perfection that defied its age. These gears, though tarnished by the sea's caress, still whispered of a time when they turned with the rhythm of the heavens. They moved not in haste, but with the slow, deliberate pace of stars. This was no mere relic. This was the Antikythera mechanism, the first analog computer, a device created over a millennium before such clockwork should have existed. Some believe it was a gift from a forgotten genius, someone whose name has been lost to the ravages of time. Others say it was the work of Archimedes himself, his mind a bridge between the earth and the heavens. Whoever conceived it, one thing remains certain: their understanding of the cosmos was beyond their time, a vision of the stars wrapped in the gears of a machine. In forgotten corners of the earth, beneath the shimmer of the Mediterranean, this machine slept, tracing the paths of the sun, the moon, and the wandering stars, like a celestial dance carried out on earth. We imagine it, in its original glory, resting on the wooden desk of a scholar, turning with the soft click of bronze gears in the flickering candlelight. It would have predicted eclipses with a precision unmatched, the rise and fall of celestial bodies, the passage of time itself. And yet, all of this knowledge, all of this understanding was lost. One storm, one shipwreck, and the thread between humanity and the stars was severed for 1,000 years. The mechanism was not just a machine. It was a bridge to the heavens, a physical representation of the cosmos, built from the very fabric of the universe itself. And yet, it lay dormant, silenced by the weight of the sea, its gears rusted and broken, its purpose hidden beneath layers of time and decay. We ponder the mind that conceived it, the hands that crafted it with such care. Was it Archimedes, the great mind whose thoughts stretched beyond the limits of his age? Or was it a forgotten genius, someone whose name never made it into the annals of history, whose work was swallowed by the sea? In the quiet depths, where the world has forgotten, the Antikythera mechanism still whispers. It is fragmented now, a broken echo of a once glorious creation, but it holds within it the precise geometry of the heavens. Its gears, though rusted and worn, still carry the secrets of the stars. It is a reminder of the fragility of knowledge, of the delicate line between discovery and loss. One storm, one shipwreck, and a millennium of understanding was washed away, like the dust of forgotten ages. Yet still, the mechanism sleeps, a silent keeper of the universe's clockwork. We rise from the depths now, leaving the sea behind, but the Antikythera mechanism remains, resting in its quiet slumber beneath the waves. It is no longer a tool, no longer a device of calculation. It has become something else, something sacred, something beyond time. It holds the echoes of a world that once was, a world where the stars could be measured in gears and the cosmos could be traced with the delicate touch of bronze. Perhaps it was never meant to be found. Perhaps the Antikythera mechanism was never meant to be understood. Some voices only echo when we are ready to listen. The ancient machine, so full of wonder, so full of mystery, has been lost to the sea. And yet, it remains, a silent testament to the minds that once sought to understand the stars, to measure the vast, eternal rhythm of the heavens. It is said that the universe itself is a machine, a clockwork of infinite complexity. And within the rusted heart of the Antikythera mechanism, we find that echo, that pulse, that unspoken rhythm. Some mysteries are not meant to be solved. Perhaps the stars themselves move in ways we can never fully understand. Perhaps the true gift of the mechanism is not in its function, but in its silence, in the reminder that there is still so much we do not know. And as we drift further away from the waves, we are left with the quiet, the echo of gears turning in the dark, the soft ticking of a universe that waits for us to listen. In the high, thin air of the Andes, where the sky stretches a piercing violet above the earth, there exists a place where the stones are not just stones, but living things. They breathe with the land, they whisper with the wind, and they move with the pulse of the earth itself. It is said that the walls of Sacsayhuaman, the fortress that crowns the hills above Cusco, are more than a structure. They are a memory, a force, a silent testament to a forgotten mastery, a mastery of balance so profound that it defies time itself. The winds here are cold and crisp, and the air is rarefied, thin with altitude. In this place, where the horizon seems to blur between the sky and the peaks of the mountains, we find ourselves in the presence of something ancient, something sacred. The stones that form the walls of Sacsayhuaman are no ordinary stones. These are blocks of diorite and limestone, massive in scale, weighing hundreds of tons. Yet they are shaped with a precision so perfect, so unfathomable, that no mortal hand could have carved them with mere copper tools. The stones fit together so seamlessly that not even a whisper of wind or a blade of grass could pass between them. In forgotten corners of the earth, this mystery remains. How was it that these stones, with such weight and such size, could be manipulated and placed with such incredible precision? Whispers tell us that there were methods, lost arts, used by the builders of these ancient walls. Some speak of vitrification, the idea that the stone was somehow melted, shaped by the forces of heat beyond our comprehension. Others believe that sound, the vibration of the earth itself, was harnessed to lift and move the stones. Yet despite all the theories, the result is the same, a perfection that we cannot fully explain. We stand now at the edge of these walls, gazing upon their majesty. The cold air brushes our faces, and we can feel the weight of history pressing in around us. These stones were not built to stand still. No, they were built to move. For these walls were constructed with a profound understanding of the earth's movements, of the very tremors that pass through the land with the shifting of the tectonic plates. In a place where the earth quakes with a regularity that we have long forgotten. The stones of Sacsayhuaman were designed to dance with the earth itself. When the ground trembles beneath our feet, the walls shift and settle, moving in slow harmony with the earth's pulse. The stones find their balance again, as though they are living things, capable of adjusting and realigning themselves. There is no fear here, no fragility. The stones do not break, nor do they crumble. They breathe with the earth, their weight balanced perfectly, their connections maintained through the silent understanding of the builders who knew that this land would always move beneath them. We leave Sacsayhuaman now, moving eastward toward Pumapunku, a place where the mystery deepens, where the stones grow stranger still. Here, the stones are not just large, but geometric. They are perfectly formed, with edges so sharp, so precise, they look as though they were made in a factory, designed by some long-forgotten civilization whose name has faded from the record of time. These are the H-blocks, massive stones with a shape that seems almost unnatural, as if they were carved not by hand, but by some method that eludes us. There is no mortar here, no glue to hold the stones together, and yet the joints are flawless, seamless, as though the stones were made for each other, designed to fit together in a perfect embrace. The weight of the stones does not crush the earth beneath them. Instead, they seem to rest lightly, balanced in a way that no modern architecture could ever replicate. We contemplate the labor of these ancient builders, their knowledge of leverage and balance so profound that it resonates through the stones themselves. The walls of Pumapunku, like those of Sacsayhuaman, were not built to withstand the earth's tremors. They were built to dance with them, to find their place in the ever-changing landscape. These stones, these geometric blocks, are not just relics of a forgotten civilization. They are relics of a knowledge we have yet to fully understand. The minds that crafted them were not only engineers, but philosophers, geomancers, attuned to the subtle rhythms of the earth. They understood something about balance, about weight, about alignment that we are only now beginning to rediscover. As the sun dips below the horizon, we are left standing in the shadow of the stones, the Southern Cross above us, watching over this ancient land. The walls are silent now, as they have been for centuries, but they are not empty. Within their weight, within their quiet balance, lies a secret of leverage, of harmony, of construction so profound that time cannot break it. The stones of Sacsayhuaman and Pumapunku are not just artifacts of an ancient civilization. They are the embodiment of a philosophy, a way of being in the world, of understanding the delicate balance between earth and stone, between weight and motion. Perhaps it was never meant to be fully understood. Perhaps the secret of the stones is not something we are meant to uncover, but to feel, to experience in the stillness of the land. Some voices only echo when we are ready to listen. And the stones, silent as they are, seem to call out to us, reminding us of the fragility of our own creations, the brevity of our own existence. Theirs is a language of stability and grounding, a language that speaks to the very heart of the earth itself. As we stand in the fading light, the stones waiting patiently beneath the southern cross, we are left with the feeling that these ancient walls hold something more than just their weight. They hold a memory, a wisdom, that has transcended the boundaries of time. And in that silence, in the quiet of the Andes, we are reminded that there is a rhythm to the earth, a dance that we too are a part of. Perhaps we are not meant to know everything. Perhaps some mysteries are meant to remain hidden, locked away in the embrace of the stones, beneath the watchful gaze of the stars. But still, the stones stand, their geometric perfection waiting for the day when we will once again learn to listen. Night falls over the Bosporus, and the world is wrapped in a blanket of stillness. The water lies as smooth as glass, a perfect mirror reflecting the darkening sky. The only sound is the soft whisper of the wind, brushing against the shore. In this quiet, sacred moment, the sea holds its breath. It is said that on nights like this, when the air is thick with the secrets of the past, something mysterious stirs beneath the water's surface. And then, without warning, a golden light erupts. But it does not come from the heavens. No, this light rises from the sea itself, as though the very depths of the Bosporus have awakened. The fire is like no other, bright, ferocious and undying. It leaps from the water, defying the natural order, as though it knows no boundaries, no rules. A flame that burns on water. A fire that cannot be extinguished by wind, nor by the waves, but only by the strangest of remedies. Vinegar, sand, or even urine. This is the secret that once lay hidden in the heart of the Byzantine Empire. This is the weapon that struck fear into the very soul of the enemy. A force of nature so wild and untamable that its name would echo through the ages. But this is not a tale of war, of empires rising and falling, of blood spilled upon the shores. No. This is a story of something far more elusive, far more dangerous, a forbidden recipe, whispered only from emperor to heir. The recipe for Greek fire, a secret known only to a few, carried in the dark corners of the imperial court, where it passed from one ruler to the next, as though the very flame itself was alive, breathing within the walls of Constantinople. We are invited now to imagine the creation of this mysterious substance, this liquid dragonfire. Imagine the dark laboratories of the city, where alchemists and engineers toiled, their minds bent toward the creation of something that could burn hotter than the sun itself. The air is thick with the smell of sulfur, the sharp tang of pine resin, and the acrid bite of quicklime. The heat of the retorts burns your skin, and the light from the glowing coals dances across the walls, casting long shadows that stretch and flicker like ghosts of the past. In the dim glow of the laboratory, the alchemists work tirelessly, their hands steady as they mix the ingredients: naphtha, quicklime, and resin, each one carefully measured, each one a piece of a puzzle whose true nature will never be fully understood. They are not merely crafting a weapon, but a force of nature. The mixture is volatile, unpredictable, like a storm trapped in a bottle. The alchemists know that their creation is both beautiful and terrifying, a flame that walks on water, a fire that cannot be tamed. They work in secret, hiding their work from the prying eyes of the world. The emperor's voice echoes through the chamber, whispering the formula only to those who are deemed worthy of knowing it. It is said that the secret of Greek fire was so well kept, so deeply buried, that it strangled itself. The very knowledge that could have changed the course of history was lost, dying with the empire. The formula was not stolen, not destroyed, but erased as though it had never existed at all. The flames that once blazed so brightly were extinguished by time itself, leaving only whispers and shadows in their wake. The loss of this fire is not merely a loss of knowledge, it is a loss of power. The Greek fire was more than just a weapon. It was a force that defied nature, a force that transcended the boundaries of science and magic. Its very existence challenged everything we know about the world. And yet, despite its power, it was buried, hidden from the world, locked away in the dark corners of history. Why? Perhaps the world was not ready for a flame that could not be extinguished. Perhaps it was too dangerous, too uncontrollable. Some voices tell us that the secret of Greek fire was erased for the safety of the world, that history chose to forget it for fear of what might have come next. And so, we find ourselves at the edge of the sea once more, the memory of the fire still lingering in the cool night air. The moon hangs low in the sky, casting its soft light across the water. The surface is calm now, a gentle reflection of the heavens, as though the fire that once rose from its depths never existed at all. The world is at peace, and yet, beneath the surface, something stirs. Perhaps the fire is still there, waiting to be rediscovered, waiting for the right moment to rise again. Or perhaps it is gone forever, a secret that was never meant to be uncovered. As we stand at the edge of the Bosporus, the sea before us is quiet, almost serene. The memory of the fire is hidden beneath the gentle waves, like a forgotten dream. The flames have died, and yet they leave behind an echo, a shadow, a whisper that still lingers in the air. The story of a Greek fire, like the fire itself, may have been lost to time, but it is not forgotten. Some stories, some mysteries, are meant to remain hidden, buried beneath the surface, waiting for the right moment to resurface. Perhaps it was never meant to be found. Perhaps some things are better left in the dark. We step inside, where the world softens and quiets, where the air is thick with the weight of time. It is a place of hushed reverence, a dim sanctuary. The shadows gather in the corners, and the only sound is the faint rustling of velvet. Here, in this stillness, rests an object of wonder, a relic from the past that holds the very essence of light within its form, the Lycurgus cup. At first glance, it appears nothing more than a simple chalice, its surface smooth and unremarkable. Its green hue is opaque in the daylight, like the depths of a forest where sunlight cannot reach. But as the light shifts, as it is bathed in the soft glow of a candle, something miraculous happens. The cup begins to glow from within, a fiery red that pulses and shimmers as though it holds the embers of a long-forgotten fire. It is said that this is no ordinary glass, no mere vessel. The Lycurgus cup is a masterwork of ancient alchemy, a delicate fusion of gold, silver, and silica. a testament to the forgotten art of dichroic glass. It was created long before the word nanotechnology would ever be spoken. Yet its beauty is crafted with an understanding of the world at a microscopic level. The gold and silver particles within the glass are so finely suspended that they are invisible to the naked eye, yet their presence transforms the very nature of the object itself. When the light catches the cup, it reveals a truth that is hidden from view, a secret kept within the folds of time. We imagine the craftsman at his workbench, grinding the gold into dust so fine that it disappears into the air, as though it were never more than a whisper of light. His hands are steady, his eyes focused not on the immediate result, but on a reaction he cannot see, one that exists only in the language of atoms and molecules. He knows that by suspending these particles within the glass, he is creating something that will endure beyond his time, something that will hold the light of the world within its shape. The gold dust is like stardust, carrying with it the light of the heavens. And the glass, oh, the glass itself, is not just a medium, but a vessel for the light, a keeper of illumination. As we turn the cup in our minds, we watch the colors shift with the changing light. The green becomes deeper, darker, and then, with the light from within, it bursts into a ruby-red glow, like the heart of a flame that refuses to die. The transformation is gentle, almost imperceptible, yet profound. It is a dance of light and shadow, of green and red, of day and night. The cup reveals to us something delicate, something ephemeral. The truth of the cup lies not in its outward appearance, but in the hidden nature of its light, a truth that can only be seen through perception. The Lycurgus cup is a meditation on the way reality shifts before our eyes. It is a metaphor for how truth itself is not fixed, not static. Truth, like the cup, changes depending on how we look at it, depending on the angle of the light. It is said that the cup tells two stories. When lit from within, it reveals a scene of violence, of the Greek king Lycurgus struggling against the gods, his body entwined by vines, a figure trapped in the struggle between life and death. But when the light is not focused within, when it is hidden from view, the cup tells a different story, one of peace, a serene image of a banquet or a gathering. The cup, like truth, holds both light and shadow, both the sacred and the profane, depending on how we choose to see it. This ancient chalice calls to us, beckoning us to consider the hidden nature of things. Perhaps, like the cup, we too are shaped by invisible forces, by particles too small to see, but large enough to change the world around us. We ponder whether the creation of the cup was a happy accident, a result of the craftsman's serendipity, or whether it was a controlled mastery of the atomic world, a skill passed down through generations, guarded like the most precious of secrets. The mystery of the cup is not only in its appearance, but in the very consistency of its transformation. For the colors shift with the same rhythm, the same precision, as if the glass itself remembers the magic of its creation. As the evening light fades, we see the cup resting in the twilight, its colors softening with the encroaching darkness. The fiery red that once blazed from within now dims, leaving only the faintest glow behind. The cup sits quietly, as though it is waiting for the next light to fill it, for the next moment of illumination. It is a vessel of trapped light, of moments suspended in time. The ancient craftsmen, with their knowledge of the world and its hidden forces, did not see the cup as merely a thing to drink from. They saw it as a keeper of light, a reminder that beauty is not always what it seems, that light can hide in the most unexpected places. Perhaps it was never meant to be fully understood. Perhaps the secret of the cup was not about its glowing red hue, nor its golden particles, but about the hidden nature of the world itself. Perhaps the ancient craftsman knew that to understand the world is to understand both its light and its shadow. Some voices only echo when we are ready to listen. And so, the Lycurgus cup rests quietly in its sanctuary, waiting for the next soul to gaze upon it, to see its truth, to witness the dance of light and shadow that it holds within. For in the end, it is not the cup itself that matters, but the light that it holds, the light that reminds us of the unseen forces that shape our world. In the stillness of the desert, where the air is thick with the weight of forgotten histories, we find ourselves standing on the dry, dusty banks of the Tigris River. The land here holds secrets, whispers of civilizations that have long since faded into memory. The wind carries the scent of sand and time, and the heat rises in gentle words from the earth, reminding us of the ancient rhythms of this place. It is said that beneath these sands, in the quiet of the desert, there lies a relic, an object of quiet mystery, waiting for us to uncover its hidden truth. And so, we begin our journey in this sacred space where history is buried in layers, waiting to be rediscovered. There, among the ruins near Baghdad, we find a simple clay jar, its surface worn by centuries of desert winds, the dust of ages clinging to its sides. Beside it, an unassuming copper cylinder and an iron rod lie buried as though they were left there, forgotten by time itself. This is the Baghdad battery, an object that has puzzled scholars and historians for centuries, a paradox from the past. A vessel that held the spark of electricity millennia before the light bulb. But this is not a story of modernity, of the industrial hum of power stations or the flicker of electric bulbs. No, this is a story of something quieter, more intimate. A delicate charge, a faint tingle rather than a sharp shock. The jar, simple and unassuming, once held within it the potential to create something far beyond its time. It was not meant for machines, not in the way we might imagine. Instead, it was used for something more mysterious, something tied to the magic and healing of the ancient world. We imagine the jar not as a tool of industry, but as a vessel of power, a container for the ancient forces of the earth, harnessed in a way that we still struggle to understand. Perhaps it was used in the temples of healing, where it numbed the pain of the faithful, where it brought relief to those suffering from ailments unknown. Perhaps it was used in the alchemical processes of the time to electroplate gold onto silver, transforming the ordinary into the extraordinary. The copper and the iron, combined with the sour scent of grape juice or vinegar acting as the electrolyte, created a reaction so subtle that it was barely perceptible. A spark, a tingle in the fingers, a touch of something otherworldly. There is no grand story of invention here, no sweeping tale of scientific discovery. Instead, there is only the quiet hum of dormant potential. The Baghdad battery represents something that flickered in the dark, a spark of brilliance that was never fully recognized for what it could have been. Perhaps it was a spark that was never meant to grow into a storm. Perhaps, like so many other wonders of the ancient world, it was allowed to slip through the fingers of those who could not see its true power. The potential of electricity, of light itself, lay dormant in that simple jar, waiting for someone to awaken it. But no one came. As we stand in this place, the cool sand beneath our feet, we breathe in the silence. The world around us is still, as if it too is waiting for us to understand what was once held in the hands of those who lived here. How close were they, we wonder, to an electric age? How close were they to seeing the world as we see it now, illuminated by the invisible forces that danced around us? And yet, for all their understanding, the spark was not to be. It flickered and went out, like a candle blown out in the wind, leaving only the memory of what might have been. The jar rests there in the sand, its form simple and unremarkable, yet holding within it the promise of something far greater. It is the sleeping seed of lightning, dormant and still, never to grow into a storm. It is a symbol of the fleeting nature of discovery, of the things that slip through the cracks of time, unnoticed and forgotten. Perhaps it was never meant to be found. Perhaps it was a gift from the past, meant to be uncovered only when the world was ready to understand it. The desert stretches out before us, vast and empty, holding its secrets close. The air is thick with the quiet of ancient times, and the jar lies there, resting in the sand, a vessel of silent potential. There is no great revelation, no dramatic discovery. There is only the stillness of the desert, the weight of the past, and the soft echo of what could have been. The spark that once lived within the jar has long since faded, leaving only the quiet hum of what was almost a revolution. And so, we leave the jar behind, its secret still hidden in the sand. Perhaps it is better this way, that some things remain buried, waiting for the right moment to be uncovered. Perhaps it is enough to know that it existed, that it held the spark of something great, even if it was never meant to grow into a storm. Some mysteries are not meant to be solved, but simply to be felt, to be touched in the silence of the night. Perhaps the jar was not meant to change the world. Perhaps its purpose was to remind us of the quiet beauty of what lies just beyond our reach, of the power that resides in things we cannot see. And in the cool, dark peace of the desert, we are left with the memory of the spark, flickering, then gone, waiting for the day when it might be reborn. We journey east, where the horizon stretches like an ancient scroll, whispering of forgotten times and distant lands. The sun begins to fade, casting its golden glow across a tranquil landscape. In this stillness, we find ourselves entering a chamber, its air thick with silence and anticipation. The walls are polished wood, gleaming with the quiet shine of centuries gone by. Beneath the heavy weight of time there is a stillness, a profound calm. At the heart of this sacred space, in the center of the room, stands a vessel. But it is not just any vessel. It is a creation born from the wisdom of the ancients, a work of art, of science, and of mystery. It is the seismoscope of Zhang Heng, a magnificent bronze device adorned with 8 dragons. These dragons, carved with intricate detail, face the 8 cardinal directions, their bodies winding and curling in majestic arcs. Each dragon holds in its mouth a small copper ball, poised, ready to drop. Beneath them, 8 open-mouthed toads sit waiting, silent, still, their eyes unblinking. This is no mere decoration. It is a detector of tremors, a vessel of profound sensitivity, capable of perceiving the pulse of the earth itself. Whispers tell us that Zhang Heng's seismoscope could detect distant earthquakes, sending a signal long before a rider could carry news, before the tremors were felt by human hands or feet. The copper balls would drop into the mouths of the toads, signaling a quake that might be hundreds of miles away. A world-shifting event made known through the delicate mechanism of bronze and copper. The chamber itself seems to hold its breath, waiting for a disturbance, for a shift in the earth to awaken the dragons. It is said that the seismoscope could feel the tremor before any human could, attuned to the unseen vibrations that travel beneath the surface of the world. A breath, barely perceptible, yet capable of setting the world into motion. The ancient Chinese knew that the earth itself was alive, a living body that pulsed with energy, with forces invisible to the human eye but felt in the bones of the world. We imagine the inner workings of the seismoscope, the central pillar that stands at the heart of the device, balanced so delicately that even the faintest breath from the earth could tip it. This pillar, this pendulum, is so sensitive, so finely tuned, that it can sense vibrations that travel through the earth's crust, rippling out from the heart of the world. The movement of the earth, the tremor of a distant quake, would shift the balance of the pillar, causing one of the copper balls to fall, a soft, metallic sound that reverberates through the chamber. As we visualize this moment, we are drawn into the silent connection that stretches across the land. The seismoscope is not merely a tool. It is a bridge between distant provinces, between places that are separated by miles of earth and stone. The trembling of one region can be felt in another, carried through the invisible waves that move beneath the surface, like ripples in a pond that stretch outward, unseen but ever present. The seismoscope captures these waves, these echoes, and transforms them into a clear, distinct signal, a copper ball dropping into the mouth of a toad, a bell-like note that marks the shift in the world. But still, the mystery remains. How did Zhang Heng, so many centuries ago, create such a device, so perfectly attuned to the vibrations of the earth? The internal mechanism, the precise design of the pendulum, is lost to history. A ghost that fades from memory. The seismoscope itself, though it still exists in spirit, no longer functions as it once did. The connection between the earth's trembling breath and the copper balls is now a memory lost in the folds of time. The mechanism remains a mystery, a riddle that eludes us, like the invisible forces it sought to measure. As we drift through this ancient chamber, we are reminded of the quiet connection between all things, the unseen forces that link us to the earth and to each other. We ponder the dragons and the toads, the symbols of power and receptivity, of movement and stillness. The dragons, whose eyes could see the tremors before they reached the world of men, were guardians of the earth's pulse. The toads, with their open mouths, were the receivers, the silent listeners to the world's quiet whispers. The sound of the copper ball falling into the toad's mouth is clear in our minds now, a sharp note that rings through the stillness. It is not a loud sound, not a roar of thunder, but a quiet, bell-like tone, like the shift of the world itself. Perhaps it was not meant to be a loud sound, perhaps like the tremor of the earth. It was meant to be felt, not heard, to move beneath the surface of the world, unnoticed, until it could no longer be ignored. The earth speaks in subtle ways, in tremors that only the dragons can feel, in vibrations that ripple through the air unnoticed by human senses. And as the night deepens, we find ourselves once again in the chamber of polished wood, the seismoscope resting silently in the dim light. The dragons remain, their eyes trained on the world, their bodies curved in eternal watchfulness. The toads, though still, seem to wait for something, wait for the breath of the earth to stir, for the invisible pulse of the world to shift. We stand in quiet reverence, knowing that the forces that shape this ancient device are still with us, even if they remain unseen. Perhaps it was never meant to be fully understood. Perhaps the seismoscope was not a tool for understanding the Earth's movements, but a way to remind us that we are connected to something larger, something beyond our comprehension. Some voices only echo when we are ready to listen. And so, the seismoscope waits, a silent sentinel in the night, holding the memory of a world that trembled and shifted beneath the dragon's watchful gaze. We return to the coast, where the land meets the endless expanse of the Mediterranean. The sea stretches out before us, its waters shimmering with the fading light of day. Yet, this is not the tranquil shore that the eye first beholds. We stand upon the high cliffs of Syracuse, where the air is thick with the scent of salt and ancient memory. Beneath us, a scene unfolds, a siege, distant but clear. Roman ships press against the city's walls, their sails billowing in the warm breeze, their hulls cutting through the water like sharp blades. In the quiet of the moment, we remember a legend, one whispered through the corridor of history, one that blurs the line between myth and truth. It is said that Archimedes, the great mind of ancient Greece, wielded the power of the sun itself to defend his city. He did not use swords or shields, but mirrors, polished bronze, a symphony of light, focused with precision to set Roman ships ablaze. This, the death ray, as some have called it, is a story that has transcended time. But today, we do not speak of it as a weapon. We speak of it as a mastery of light, of geometry, of the delicate art of focus. The story of Archimedes' mirrors is one of reflection, not of violence, but of understanding the invisible forces of the universe. We imagine the burning glass, a delicate instrument placed with care, catching the sun's rays and bending them, transforming them into a focused beam of pure energy. The sun itself, a star so far away, was brought close, harnessed by human hands and shaped into a guardian of the city. The rays, once scattered, now become sharp and focused, a tool that could burn with the intensity of 1,000 suns. The atmosphere is bright and blinding, filled with the heat of the Mediterranean sun. We can feel it on our skin, the warmth seeping through the air, mingling with the salt of the sea and the scent of wood from the ships below. It is a heat that doesn't just warm the skin, it penetrates the senses, saturating the air with the weight of the day. The sea, so full of life and movement, contrasts sharply with the stillness of the mirrors. Each mirror, each polished surface, reflects and refracts the sun's light with painstaking patience. In the heat of the moment, we wonder how Archimedes, in his quiet genius, discovered the secret to this power. Was it the polished bronze shields, so perfectly curved, that could catch and reflect the rays? Or was it the massive singular lens, perhaps the true heart of the invention, magnifying the energy of the sun in a way we can only imagine? The line between history and myth blurs in this moment. Perhaps the mirrors were not merely tools, but symbols. Symbols of focus, of purpose, of the convergence of light and intention. Some voices tell us that the true method was never written down, that it was kept within Archimedes' mind alone, a secret that the sun itself chose to keep. We trace the path of the sunbeams, watching them converge upon the ships below. The mirrors, placed at angles so precise, channel the light through the air, gathering the sun's energy, turning it from something fleeting and harmless into something powerful, something that could change the course of history. It is a reflection on focus, how scattered light, no matter how bright, has little power. But focused, concentrated, that same light becomes a force. It is not a weapon forged in the heat of battle, but in the quiet understanding of nature's most ancient forces. The mirrors shift with the angle of the sun, their reflections changing as the day progresses. Each beam is a dance of light and shadow, guided by the hands of a mind that understood the secrets of the stars. Archimedes, it is said, did not just see the world in terms of numbers and angles. He saw it in terms of harmony, of the way forces could be balanced and bent, shaped by human will to create something greater than the sum of its parts. The story is not just one of defense, but of creation. A creation of power from light. A creation that was as delicate as it was fierce. As the sun begins its descent, the mirrors grow colder. The warmth of the day fades, leaving only the quiet echoes of the sun's departure. The light that once burned bright, that set the ships ablaze, now slips away into the horizon. The mirrors grow dark, their surfaces no longer reflecting, no longer focused on the power of the sun. The day has ended, and with it, the mystery of Archimedes' true method fades into the twilight. The secret of the mirrors, the method that allowed a man to bend the forces of the universe to his will, is lost. It is said that no one truly knows how Archimedes did it, that the technique died with him, a secret that was never meant to be passed on. Perhaps it was not meant to be found. Perhaps it was enough that Archimedes understood the potential within the light, that he saw the world not in terms of war or destruction, but as a place where the forces of nature could be harnessed for the greater good. The siege below us continues, the ships still anchored in the water, the city safe for now. The sun has set, and the mirrors rest in their silent vigil, waiting for another day when the light will once again rise. But for now, the secret remains, locked within the shadows, hidden by the fading light of dusk. Perhaps, in forgotten corners of the earth, the answer to the riddle of the mirrors will one day be uncovered. Perhaps, like all great mysteries, it will remain just beyond our grasp, a secret kept by the sun itself. We begin our journey in the quiet of the earth, where the air is thick with the stillness of forgotten time. The sun, high above the world, no longer touches this place. Instead, there is the cool breath of darkness, ancient and enduring. It is said that beneath the surface of China, hidden from the light of day, there lies a world that should not exist. A world carved not by the winds of nature, but by the hands of those long forgotten. These are the Longyu Caves, a labyrinth of grottos so vast, so intricate, that no record has been kept of their creation. No text has whispered their origin. We descend into the depths now, our steps echoing softly in the cool silence. The air grows damp, the walls moist, with centuries of secrecy. Below us stretches a subterranean expanse that defies understanding, a cavernous world carved from siltstone, massive and mysterious, filled with chambers that could have been made only by a mind as ancient as the earth itself. The scale is overwhelming. Millions of cubic meters of rock vanished, leaving behind no trace of rubble. No sign of how such an enormous task was accomplished. Only the smooth, polished walls, the graceful curves, and the symmetry of the space, which seemed to whisper of a method or machine beyond our grasp. As we wandered deeper into the silence, our hands brush the walls. We feel the cool, firm texture of the stone beneath our fingertips. The surface is covered in parallel chisel marks, uniform and unwavering, like the lines of a sacred script, etched by hands unknown. The marks stretch from floor to ceiling, a mesmerizing pattern of regularity that suggests a precision, an order that cannot be explained by human craftsmanship alone. Each chisel mark speaks of a method, an unseen hand guiding the creation of these sacred spaces. But the question remains, who were they, and how did they achieve such a feat? Perhaps it was not the work of men at all, but of machines, of some technology lost to the passage of time. The rhythm of the marks, the perfection of their placement, suggests a process far beyond simple tools. The echoes of ancient sounds resonate in the air as we move through the caves. The low hum of something profound, something that has not been understood. Yet still, the question lingers. Why? Why such a monumental effort for something hidden in the dark? Something that seems to have no purpose, no God to serve, no offerings to make. The Longyu caves were not always empty, not always the silent monuments they are today. It is said that for centuries, these caverns were filled with water, their dark chambers home to the bottomless ponds of local legend. The water, cool and still, preserved the carvings in their suspended animation, preserving the walls as they were, untouched by the hands of time. As we walk through the now dry caves, we can feel the presence of the water, still lingering in the cool, damp air, a reminder of the deep stillness that once held these chambers in a timeless embrace. The walls of the caves are thin, the ceilings heavy with the weight of the earth above. Yet despite their delicate structure, they have not collapsed. They have stood the test of time, holding up the world above them with a strength and grace that defies logic. It is a miracle, a testament to the skill of their creators, and a mystery that we may never fully understand. How is it that these fragile chambers have endured for centuries, holding their form and their secrets in the heart of the earth? The air is thick with the weight of the past, heavy with the silence of ages. The echoes of our footsteps fade into the cool darkness, swallowed by the vastness of the cavern. We pause, standing in awe of the scale and the mystery. The caverns stretch out before us like a hidden library, a library of stone books with no words. The walls, etched with their secret script, wait in the eternal night of the earth. They are a message, a record, waiting to be read. But by whom? Perhaps the message is not for us at all, but for something else, something that moves through the depths of the world, something that understands the silent language of stone. The mystery deepens as we reach the heart of the caves, where the water has long since drained away, leaving behind only the shadowed striations on the walls. The absence of the water is palpable, a void that leaves behind only the memory of its presence. It is a quiet, still space, a place where time itself seems to have no meaning. The shadows stretch long, the lines of the walls winding and curving like the pathways of dreams. And in the silence, we are reminded of the true nature of these caverns, not as a monument, not as a tomb, but as a vessel. An ancient vessel carved by hands that understood the very nature of the earth, the forces that shape the world, and the mysteries that lie hidden beneath the surface. Perhaps it was never meant to be found, this secret beneath the earth. Perhaps the Longyu caves were always meant to remain hidden, their purpose known only to those who shaped them. Perhaps the message written in stone was never meant for our eyes, never meant for the present age, but for some other time, some other world, when the truth could be understood. Some voices only echo when we are ready to listen. As we stand in the quiet darkness, we are left with only the stillness of the caves, the soft hum of the earth beneath our feet. The mystery of their creation remains, suspended in time, just as the walls wait for a reader to come. The caverns, carved by water and night, are a testament to the quiet power of the earth, and to the secrets that still lie beneath the surface, waiting to be uncovered. Perhaps one day, in forgotten corners of the earth, we will find the answers we seek. Or perhaps we will leave the questions to the stone, allowing the silence to hold its own truth. We begin our journey beneath a thick blanket of grey. The sky above, vast unbroken canvas, holds no light, only the oppressive stillness of cloud. There is no sun to guide us, no gentle warmth to suggest the promise of a new day. The sea, too, is wrapped in mist, its surface cold and uninviting, stretching out endlessly in all directions. The air is damp, filled with the weight of salt and fog. And yet, amidst this quiet, oppressive world, we find ourselves aboard a Viking longship, its sleek form cutting through the water with quiet grace, its wooden hull creaking softly beneath us. It is said that the ancient navigators of these northern seas were not daunted by the fog, nor by the absence of light. How could they, we wonder, chart a course through such thick veils of mist? How did they find their way in a world where the sun could be hidden for days, swallowed by the relentless clouds? The answer lies not in the stars, nor in the wind, but in something far more mysterious. Something so simple, so small, that it carried the weight of the entire journey in its translucent depths. We turn our gaze to the ship's hand outstretched and holding aloft a glowing crystal. It is a stone, translucent and delicate, and yet within it a secret lies. This is the sunstone, a crystal of Iceland spar, a beacon of clarity in the midst of confusion. When held to the grey sky, this stone reveals the invisible, turning the world into a map, a guiding light in the dark expanse. The Vikings, it is whispered, knew the secrets of the stone. They understood how to look through its surface, how to find the hidden sun, even when it was completely veiled by the sky. We look closely at the crystal, watching as the sunlight, even in its scattered form, is polarized within its depths. The crystal bends the light, revealing a direction, a path that was once lost to the fog. This, we realize, is not merely a tool of navigation, it is a tool of faith. The crystal does not show the sun in full. Rather, it allows the navigator to glimpse the sun's position by catching the scattered light, even when the source itself remains hidden. It is a paradox, a light that shines not in brilliance, but in subtlety. It is a beacon, not of certainty, but of possibility. The stone speaks to us of intuition, of knowing, even when the world around us is shrouded in uncertainty. We imagine the Vikings, standing at the helm of their ship, holding the crystal to the sky, their eyes steady, their minds fixed on the faint glow of the light. The sea around them may be thick with fog, but in their hands, the stone reveals the world's hidden truth. It is a quiet, almost imperceptible moment when they trust in the crystal's guidance, in the light it shows them, knowing that even the thickest mist cannot obscure the path if they have the faith to see it. The atmosphere around us is one of silence and calm. The ship glides silently through the water, its sleek form cutting through the fog with purpose. We can feel the chill of the air, the dampness of the wood beneath our feet. The sound of the oars dipping in and out of the water is muffled, swallowed by the mist. The world around us feels vast, yet confined, as though we are moving through a dream. A world where only the most subtle signals matter, where the smallest shift in light can reveal the way forward. This is a world of faith, of trust in the unseen. As the stone guides the ship, it also guides the soul. The navigator does not need to see the sun with his eyes, but only to sense its presence through the subtle light of the crystal. It is a metaphor for belief, for the unseen forces that guide us even when the world around us seems lost. Some believe that the sunstone was not only a tool for navigation, but a symbol of something deeper, a reminder that even in the darkest, most uncertain times, there is always a way forward, if only we trust the light that comes to us, however faint. The ship moves steadily, cutting through the mist, guided by the stone, by the faith of those who know how to read the invisible. There is no hurry in this journey. It is not a race to reach the horizon, but a quiet, deliberate passage through the world, carried by the currents of the sea and the subtle pull of the crystal. As the ship glides forward, we feel a deep sense of calm, a quiet reverence for the journey itself. The sun does not yet reveal itself, but we know it is there. The crystal whispers its secret, guiding us through the fog, pointing us toward the horizon, where the sky and the sea meet in a soft, indistinguishable line. We know that the sun will eventually break through, and when it does, it will be the culmination of the faith that has carried us this far. For now, though, we are content in the quiet space between the fog and the sky, the space where intuition guides us, and where the unseen light leads us forward. And as the day stretches on, the ship continues its journey, moving toward the horizon that is just beyond reach. The fog is still thick around us, but we no longer feel its weight. We trust the stone, the crystal, the faith that it holds, and in that trust, we know we are not lost. We are simply following the light, even when it is hidden, even when it is faint. Perhaps it was never meant to be found with our eyes, but with our hearts, with our belief in the guiding light that speaks to us in the silence. As the sun begins to dip, casting its final rays over the mist-covered sea, the crystal grows faint, its glow diminishing with the coming night. The ship moves on, cutting through the waters, the sound of the oars steady in the quiet dark. The world is still, and the horizon stretches out before us, an endless mystery. Perhaps, like the ship, we too are moving toward a horizon that we cannot fully see. But we trust in the guidance of the stone, in the whisper of the light that leads us through the fog. And so, the journey continues, guided by the unseen sun, by the trust in the crystal, and by the faith that even in the darkest of nights, the horizon remains just within reach.